Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Live 45 right here on our Facebook page of the International College of Dentists USA section. I am your fellow ambassador of social media, and you have been seeing me doing these for almost the last 18 months, which is really crazy that we've made it this far, but we are super excited to bring you yet another great program. I want to remind everyone that although we are streaming live right now, this program will be archived like the rest of our live interviews are on our usa-icd.org website under the publications tab on the top. And you can drop that down and see this recording and all of the other ones we've done in almost the last 18 months. Also remember that we like to hear questions and of course comments if you're watching and you just want to say hello. We want to know where you're from and who you are. So go ahead and drop a comment on Facebook in the comment section and I will make sure to shout you out. Our co-host this evening is our president-elect of our USA section, Dr. Risa Martin. Welcome, Dr. Martin. Good evening.
Good evening.
And our very special guest is Dr. Ronald Fritz. So before I go ahead and introduce him, I'm going to tell you all a little bit about our wonderful president-elect. And you have seen her here with me before, and you are going to see her live in Vegas when we make it there in a few months. Dr. Martin earned her doctorate from the University of Texas Health Science Center Dental School in San Antonio. She actually also got her MBA and retired. Congratulations. After private practice for 35 years in 2020, she was inducted into the ICD in 2002, organized it and directed the Great Expectations Mentoring Program for the San Antonio area, and has also served the board of the Texas ICD chapter in all capacities, including president. From 2012 to 2015, Risa was the ICD Deputy Regent. And then from 2015 to 2018, she was the ICD Regent representing the Texas District. She was also part of the Texas Dental Association as Director, Senior Director, and Vice President, and on all committees and officer positions, including President of the San Antonio District Dental Society. She's a past president of the American Association of Women Dentists and Smiles for Sex Foundation. And Dr. Martin also served at the ADA. I don't know where you had time to do all these things, Dr. Martin, on several committees, but the highlight was as local chair of the ADA 2014 meeting in San Antonio with a Mission of Mercy event included. That was actually my first ADA meeting. I can't believe it's been so long. Yeah. And in 2012, Dr. Martin was named the Texas AGD Dentist of the Year. In 2011, the ADA recognized her leadership and awarded her the prestigious Golden Apple Award. The AAWD also presented her their most prestigious award, the Lucy Hobbs Taylor Award in 2014. And she's been the recipient of 4 distinguished presidential awards from the San Antonio District Dental Society. Dr. Martin has been a member of the Christian Medical Dental Association for 27 years, taking dental students on mission trips around the world. That is quite a CV. We are so lucky to have you. Thank you for being on with us this evening.
Thank you.
Now our special guest, Dr. Ronald Fritz, who was born in California and grew up and was educated there. He went to Loma Linda University to study dentistry and public health. While a student, what impacted him most was a 4-week stay to provide dental care at Monument Valley, Utah for Navajo Nation patients during his senior year. He signed up as a deferred mission appointee, agreeing to work in an international setting. After several options in Africa, Dr. Fritz ended up at Bella Vista Hospital in Puerto Rico. 2 months after receiving his DDS and MPH degrees, he found himself in the beautiful Caribbean, trying to learn Spanish and providing general and hospital dentistry where the only specialist in town was an orthodontist. For the 6 years, he had a mission project of a monthly trip 2 hours into the coffee-growing mountains to help a hospital dental clinic, which had 2 chairs and no dentist. This personal mission project endeared him to the Puerto Rican people. And he developed something that I can't pronounce, what we're going to call stain of the banana, meaning the Latin culture indelibly imprinted on his heart. In this process, his life was changed. After moving back to Southern California, the Latin influence and mission spirit never died. Dr. Fritz has continuously helped on dental mission projects since, preferring Latin people and places to help, knowing the culture and the language. He had his private practice in Escondido, California, and taught part-time at Loma Linda University, influencing students to get involved in mission projects. Today, he is mostly retired. and lives with his wife, Vicky Cruz. Dr. Fritz is an emeritus fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry, a fellow of the ICD, ACD, and Pierre Fauchard Academy. In addition to being a fellow of the Academy of Dentistry International, he was vice president for education of ADI and USA section chair. Because of his passion for missions, he believes he will continue volunteering until his vision or his fingers start to fail. Dr. Fritz was the 2018 recipient of the ICD Distinguished Humanitarian Award. Welcome, Dr. Fritz.
Muchas gracias y buenas noches a todos. Especialmente mi gente latina. Es un placer y un honor. It's a real pleasure and a distinct honor for me to be here tonight. Thank you.
So I again want to remind everyone that although this is live, if you happen to miss us, it will be archived on our Facebook page and at usa-icd.org under the publications tab. Please say hello if you're watching us, and I will make sure to recognize you. And of course, if you have any questions for Dr. Fritz, go ahead and leave those in the comment section on Facebook. We are going to roll right into this. Can you tell us where it all started for you?
Well, actually, it started back in 1966 when I was studying at La Sierra College then, now university. And I applied to 2 dental schools, one in San Francisco, UOP, and Loma Linda. I really wanted to go to Loma Linda because of all of the service that I had heard about that they did. Back then, it was not in vogue to do service trips, mission trips. And so I applied to 2 schools just to make sure. I got my acceptance from UOP and I hadn't heard from Loma Linda. And finally, I got a second letter from UOP and they said, look, we need to know there's people waiting for your spot if you don't want it. I got my courage up and called the Dean of Admissions at Loma Linda, Walter B. Clark. I said, Dean, I'm sorry to be rude, but I need to know what's going to happen. UOP is breathing down my back. He said, you can go ahead and tell them, no, I'm sending your letter out today. So I was very relieved. And what ended up happening is Loma Linda is kind of a young school. They started in 1953. And in 1955, they started taking students down to Chiapas, which is next door to where we live in Oaxaca, and did dental service mission trips there. And that ended up eventually having to change with problems in Chiapas. They built a dental clinic at the Monument Valley Hospital, and we started working there. Students started working there.
So Ron, how is the dental community in your area and in Mexico where you do spend a lot of your time?
There is a big difference between Escondido and Puerto Escondido, even though they sound the same. In both places, I tried to encourage participation. In San Diego, the County Dental Society has been very helpful in publishing some of the reports in their monthly Facets magazine. And that allows me to encourage other colleagues to help out. We have a local clinic in San Diego, almost in the center of San Diego, Cura Smiles. And then across Southern California, the Los Médicos Voladores, the flying doctors, have a lot of projects too. In Puerto Escondido, I have colleagues, friends who help us when groups come down. And it's kind of a mutually beneficial friendship, because sometimes they have to order some dental equipment or supplies or something, and I receive it here and bring it down to them so they can save on the duty. Yeah.
Your personal mission to serve others is so inspiring. What was it that grabbed you during that dental mission in Utah while still a dental student to continue serving others for more than 50 years?
Well, in a few words, my life was changed. Several things happened actually in Monument Valley in 1971 when I was there as a senior student. The instructors told us to go ahead and take care of the patients, and if we needed help, to call them. And that was the first time I felt like a doctor of dentistry. And what surprised me was the appreciation of these Navajo people. You know, the assistants would translate. Most of the Navajo patients did not speak English, and so they would translate for us. And the translation came across that they were extremely appreciative of what we did. And I found out that something inside of you, almost magical, happens, and you end up realizing that you got more than you gave. You received more from those patients, appreciation, and the reward of that than you were able to give them.
So, Dr. Fritz, I would
Yes.
love to know more about your monthly missions into the coffee growing mountains while you practiced in Puerto Rico for 6 years out of dental school. And did you have other dentists join you on any of those mission trips? And if so, how in the world did you encourage them to join you?
Well, Mayaguez, Puerto Rico is on the opposite side of the island from San Juan. It's the third largest city in Puerto Rico, and about 100,000 people at that point in time. The other dentists in town were not really mission-minded, and I thought sometimes maybe they resented my competition with them. The only, as we mentioned, the only specialist in town was an orthodontist, although I heard an oral surgeon was going to be coming to town. And when he did, he took me up to this clinic 2 hours out of Mayaguez and showed me. He had worked there after his specialty in oral surgery that he took in San Juan. They require a year of service, social service, they call it. And he showed me this clinic and he said, you know, we really need somebody to come up here. Would you be interested? I asked the hospital if they would let me have a day off to do that, and they declined. So I took my day off to be able to go up there. And it was a once a month trip, 2 hours up, work from 9 to 6 probably, and then 2 hours back home. And I was blessed a great deal. They had 2 old chairs, I call them barber chairs. And so we worked in older equipment, but it was, again, very rewarding. I have to confess something to you. After 6 months living in Puerto Rico, I almost left and returned to California. Apparently, it was just culture shock. I didn't understand it at the time, but I said, I'm going to give it 6 more months. And if I still feel the same way, I'm going to leave. 2 or 3 other families had left, and for the same reason. But it's funny that after 6 more months, after a year of being there, I was okay. And that's something else I can't explain. I guess I accepted, I adjusted. I had never lived in Latin America, but I became Latin that year and ended up staying not only for 3 years, but 3 more, 6 years. By the way, Spanish is spoken more in the Western Hemisphere than English. You probably all know that. These are the Americas, and more countries speak Spanish than English. I've also heard that it's the Spanish people tell me that it's the language of heaven. So I wanted to encourage anybody that wants to go there that they probably should learn Spanish.
Thank you for those words of wisdom.
A little joke.
I want to mention before we roll into the next question that Joe Keneally is watching. John Osborne says hello from beautiful Tennessee, and that his wife and he were both born when their fathers were students at the College of Medical Evangelists. Joe says that he had the pleasure of presenting the Distinguished Humanitarian Award to you in 2018.
Yes, he did.
Which is all great stuff. Our next question is that all of us here at the ICD USA section would like to thank you for the many mission reports you submitted throughout the years. What organizations do you volunteer the most with?
Got out of sequence. Well, what we did in 2013 in New Orleans, ADI, the Academy of Dentistry International, and and ICD established a humanitarian liaison committee, and my own goal was to try to get all of the projects listed under one roof. I didn't realize it already existed with the ADA, so we didn't have to reinvent the wheel. But in my own case, I have a lot of projects with the Flying Doctors. Again, I mentioned it, Los Médicos Voladores. They have a website, flyingdocs.org, and they have trips all over Southern California and into the northern part of Mexico around the Sea of Cortez. And that's a really good source for people that want to get involved. I also help with Dr. Cheatwood's foundation, dentalvisionmission.org. This is one of the most generous colleagues I have met, and he actually invented the chairs you're looking at. That's how we set up our clinics in remote areas. And I'll tell you about him here in a minute. If you have a chance and can go to the international section of ADA and watch the humanitarian video when Dr. Frank Serio was awarded in 2015 in Washington, DC, you can see the impact it made on him, and you can kind of get an idea how this kind of work impacts dentists in general who are giving this way. I think those chairs were, I think we had a next question on Dr. Cheatwood. He invented those.
Yes, Ron, I was going to ask you, I know that we've heard about these portable Pelican case dental units with the corrugated plastic dental chairs that were invented by one of our ICD fellows. And you have mentioned that you use these on mission trips. So can you tell us a little bit more about those chairs and a little bit more about Dr. Gail Cheatwood?
Dr. Cheatwood I met in 2016 on my first mission trip to Oaxaca. And he has a foundation, as I mentioned, Dental Vision Mission. And he lives in the Imperial Valley, which is just north of the southern border in California. And he watched these farmers. There's a lot of agriculture in the Imperial Valley, and he watched these farmers picking oranges, and they would put them in these large blue plastic boxes. And they're bacteriostatic, and they're very strong. If you can imagine a cube, a yard cube holding oranges, that'd be tough to lift. You have to have a forklift to lift those. And he thought to himself, you know, he has a very inventive mind. And he said, I think I could make some dental chairs out of that material. So he got some and made a prototype and worked well. So he started production of them. He never took out a patent on it. He's generous. He decided the Christian Dental Society could rent them or sell them, and it would do them good. And so we take these on all the mission trips. They're light. They're in the box that you see. The instrument table tray is the box that it goes in when you disassemble it. I have a video showing a 2-minute setup. It doesn't take very long if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, it might take a couple of hours. But they're very, very useful, and they will hold up to a 400-pound patient. So you don't have to worry about it breaking down. There's Dr. Cheatwood.
Well, thank you. And you know, I have actually used these units myself, and they are amazing.
I'm glad you got to use them. They're excellent style. The way they're designed, they're easy to transport and easy to use.
Yes, thank you.
Elliot Paisner says it is humbling to hear these stories, so he is watching with us. Congratulations on the Cura Smiles Clinic receiving the 2021 Oral Health Champion Award from the County of San Diego's Health and Human Services Agency. Can you tell us more about this clinic now that more and more people are being vaccinated?
Yes.
Are there plans to resume mission projects and trips in the near future? How can dentists become involved in these organizations to volunteer or help support them if desired?
Well, Cura Smiles is a clinic, as I mentioned, pretty much in the center of San Diego, that is a safety net type clinic for people who do not have state insurance or private insurance or the resources to take care of their dental needs. And a lot of the people are not documented, so Spanish comes in handy there. And it was a setup by Dr. Thomas Fitzpatrick, who will be inducted in Las Vegas as a fellow of ICD. And we met on a trip in 2010, mission trip to Nicaragua. Ended up being roommates. And when he came back, he got the idea that he could start importing Nicaraguan coffee, and the profits to that could help start a clinic. So it's Cura Coffee and it's Cura Smiles. Now, Cura in Spanish means cures. I don't know if that was part of his design or not, but Cura Smiles is where I'll be working tomorrow in San Diego. And it is also a joy to help there. Now, there's other places that we work, and ADA's website, the member center, has everything registered all over the places that there are projects. And you can go to that website. I think they'll put it up for you. And I suggest you start by getting involved in a local project like a Mission of Mercy clinic. California Dental Association has CDA Cares, and you can get involved that way, and that will expose you to the rewards of doing this kind of work. And then you can start getting involved in the international projects. There's a quote that says, if you want to learn more about yourself, start by exploring the world around you. Well, you will be blown away what you learn about yourself when you start doing mission trips. Another thing that it helps with is burnout. I have colleagues who are just really down in the dumps and burned out. And I said, you know what, you need a mission trip. And we sign them up. Maybe they come on one with me, or they find an event to go to. And I have not had one failure in curing burnout. So that's a very useful thing too. And anyone who can't figure out where to find a trip or something like that, I'm happy to help. If you want to email or call me, I can hold your hand.
That's great news. Well, you are one of the ICD USA section volunteer seminar speakers. So tell us, what are the top 3 things that you like to share during those presentations?
Wow, I have a whole list.
Only the top 3.
I'll do the top 3. The first that I would recommend is, whenever you go to another country, show respect. Don't give the ugly American impression to anyone. Respect the laws, culture, and food of your host country. And talk to the people in a friendly way. Show acceptance and love. And I think that's probably the most important. A lot of people go to another country and think US law governs there. Of course, it does not, but they forget that. So remember that other countries have their own laws. The second, I would say, get involved right away. Don't wait for someday. I didn't say Sunday, I said someday. And you can donate a day or two, you know, a weekend trip. You'll learn early how that reward of helping, of service, feeds your soul and prevents many of the disadvantages of our wonderful profession, such as selfishness, egocentrism, ethnocentrism, materialism, and there's probably a lot of other isms that we try to avoid. It's easy to get stuck in your four walls or making a trek back and forth from home to work. And we need to stretch our wings and get out of that. There are day trips, there are weekend trips. You decide how much you can give. The third would be expect obstacles and problems. If there are none, you'll be a happy camper. But there usually are. And this demands flexibility. I'm sure you know about that. Respect other countries' laws and cultures, as we said. You will make the world a better place being an ambassador for good. But just remember that the only constant in life is change. And things will change on the trip and you have to adjust. So adjustability is a prerequisite.
Thank you for that. And
that was the third one.
Janice Moriarty is watching and says that this is very inspiring. You know, you said something that's interesting that I think that we have talked about, and honestly, Dr. Martin's seen as kind of a recurrent theme through the last 18 months, and that is to remember that you're part of a greater community. That's not just the four walls of your house or the four walls of your office or your hospital. And, you know, service to that community in whichever way, whatever way you choose to do it is really inspiring. And one of the greatest gifts of this profession is being able to pay our blessings forward. And so I thank you for that. That was very important. The last question I always like to ask, because everyone that we have on always has so much wisdom to share, is, are there any words of wisdom you would like to share with dental students and new graduates coming out into the dental world?
Well, this gets really close to my heart. If the only reason you became a dentist was to get more, you lost the vision, because significance in life is to give more. When you come to the last day, ready to leave, would you like to have taken more or given more? You can't take this with you. You know, material things, money. It boils down to character and how much you gave to help your brother. I have a dental classmate who told me quite a while ago, Dr. David Brodeur, I believe we're on this earth to help each other. And I've never forgotten that. Why are we here? We're here to help each other. So we have some slides with a couple of quotes that I really like. You can read the first.
The sole meaning of life is to serve humanity, by Leo Tolstoy.
Amen.
Yes.
Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? From MLK Jr.
I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve, by Albert Schweitzer in 1875. How
Long
true.
time ago. Very, very true words. I wanted to remind people of something a man named E. Stanley Jones said. Please listen carefully. The most miserable people in the world are self-centered. People who don't do anything for anybody except themselves. They are centers of misery without exception. On the contrary, the happiest, most successful people are people who deliberately take on themselves the sorrows and troubles of somebody else. Their hearts sing with a strange, wild joy, automatically and without exception. Pablo Picasso said, the purpose of life is to find your gift. The meaning of life is to give it away. Are we doing that? And Confucius said, if you want happiness for a year, inherit a fortune. If you want happiness for a lifetime, help someone else. Abundant living means abundant giving. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You know, I thank you for those. They're so important and such great lessons, especially to the next generation of all of these wonderful dental students, residents, and new dentists that are going to kind of secure the future of our profession. And I want to build on what you said, and if I may, Dr. Martin, just really remind everyone what an amazing gift that we've been given. You know, you've heard, like I said, for 18 months from these wonderful leaders and you know, just people that really made it their life's mission to pay those blessings forward. No mission is too small, whether it's in your local community, whatever that may be, nationally or internationally, and on whatever forum you choose, whether it's through mission work, whether it's through organized dentistry, whether it's with an organization, whether it's with, you know, a place of worship, or a community center, whatever that is. I just really want to impress on everyone watching that we have been given an amazing, amazing gift. And you can't take all of these material positions with you when you go. And whenever you go, that is written by someone that is much more powerful than us, and no one can change that. So please do the most you can with every single day you've been given. Life is such a blessing. So thank you for all of that amazing information and those quotes, Dr. Fritz.
Dr. Patel, what you say is very important. And I forgot to mention that you don't have to get on a plane to do mission work. It's in your own backyard all over the place. So
there is need and a desire to help everywhere. So especially to all of our new graduates watching, no project is too small. And as you have seen, there are amazing people like Dr. Fritz and Dr. Martin that will help guide you through no matter what it is that you're interested in doing and how you're interested in giving back. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Fritz, for being our special guest this evening, and Dr. Martin for being my co-host. And I want to remind everyone again that although this was live, it is going to be archived on our Facebook page and also again at usa-icd.org. Remember also, we do send announcements about our future interviews and guests via e-blast, posted on Facebook and on our website. Next up, join us on Wednesday, July 21st at 8 p.m. Eastern for our very next Take 20 interview with Rear Admiral Timothy Ricks, who is the Assistant Surgeon General and Chief Dental Officer for the United States Public Health Service. The ADA will honor Rear Admiral Ricks with their 2021 Distinguished Service Award at SmileCon in Las Vegas this October. Our next live 45 interview will be on Wednesday, August 4th at 8 p.m. with another outstanding member of our volunteer seminar faculty, Dr. Francis Serio. He is the founder and director of the Dominican Dental Mission Project that has provided in excess of $19.5 million of dental services over a span of 38 years. In 1991, the project received the President's Volunteer Action Award, and he also received the 2015 ADA Humanitarian Award, plus way too many others to mention. Again, if you have any questions or comments, this will be archived on the Facebook page. You can continue to post on there. We do monitor it. And I want to wish everyone a very, very good evening. I want to also thank our ICD staff who has been doing an amazing job behind the scenes. Kylie Evans and Paula Renato, thank you so much for picking this project up with me 18 months ago and really kind of running with it. Please look out for us coming up shortly here in person. We are so excited to see all of you again safely, and we want to wish you a very, very good night. Have a great evening, everyone, and be well.